As a physician, I see patients over the age of 50 every single day. They come into my clinic, they sit on the examination table, and they wait for me to fix them. They want a pill for their joint pain, a pill for their lethargy, and a pill for their anxiety about getting older. And every day, I write prescriptions, because that is what the modern medical system is designed to do. We treat symptoms, we manage decline, we offer chemical comfort for biological realities. But I am going to tell you a truth right now, that most doctors will only discuss quietly behind closed doors, long after the clinic has closed. The prescription you actually need to survive and thrive in the second half of your life cannot be filled at a pharmacy. In fact, modern medicine is utterly powerless to save you from the 5 daily habits that are systematically destroying your mind and body as you age. Over 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosophers, men like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, understood the biology of aging better than most modern adults do today. They possessed no MRI machines and no blood panels, yet they knew that human decline is not just a biological process. It is a psychological surrender. They recognized that how we choose to frame our reality directly dictates how our bodies endure it. Today, we are going to walk through the 5 daily habits you must stop immediately if you have crossed the half-century mark. I urge you to listen closely and evaluate your own daily routines. The 5th habit on this list is the most dangerous of all, and it is the exact habit that modern society actively encourages you to adopt as a reward for a lifetime of hard work. Let us begin the diagnosis. Habit number 1. Outsourcing your physical agency to modern comfort. In medicine, there is a fundamental, unbreakable law of human physiology. Use it or lose it. If you put a perfectly healthy, muscular arm in a cast for 6 weeks, the muscle will rapidly atrophy. The bone density will drop. The ligaments will stiffen. The arm becomes weak and fragile, not because it was exposed to disease, but because it was protected from the stress of the environment. After age 50, the human body naturally begins a process called sarcopenia, which is the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. Your bone density peaks and begins a slow, inevitable decline. Modern society's answer to this natural biological shift is comfort. We tell people over 50 to take it easy. We build softer chairs. We install elevators. We encourage a sedentary lifestyle under the guise of resting. We tell them to let the younger generation do the heavy lifting. From a clinical perspective, this is a physiological death sentence. The Stoic philosopher Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, was known to practice voluntary discomfort. He would deliberately sleep on the hard floor, wear coarse clothing, and eat meager, bland rations for days at a time. He did this not to punish himself, but to remind his mind and body that they were capable of enduring hardship. He refused to let comfort make him soft. Seneca wrote, "It is in times of security that the spirit should be preparing itself for difficult times. While fortune is bestowing favors on it, then is the time to be strengthened against her rebuffs." When you avoid physical exertion, when you instinctively seek the escalator instead of the stairs, when you ask someone else to carry your groceries, you are signaling to your biology that you no longer require a strong, resilient vessel. You are surrendering your locus of control. Your body adapts to the demands placed upon it. If you demand nothing, it will become nothing. Stop treating your body like it is made of fragile glass. Lift heavy things. Walk up steep hills. Embrace the shock of cold water. Expose your body to controlled, voluntary stress. The Stoics knew that strength is forged in resistance. Modern medical science confirms it entirely. Stop letting modern comfort atrophy your life. Habit number 2. Mourning the past instead of managing the present. In my practice, I routinely see patients whose severe physical ailments are direct manifestations of chronic psychological stress. Their cortisol levels are permanently elevated. Their blood pressure is dangerously high. Their sleep architecture is entirely ruined, leading to systemic inflammation. When I sit down and truly speak with them, stripping away the clinical charts, I often find they are living in a time zone that no longer exists. They obsess over what they could do physically in their 20s. They mourn the influential career they had in their 30s. They bitterly lament the financial or personal mistakes they made in their 40s. Epictetus, a man who was born into slavery, had every right to be bitter about his past. His leg was intentionally broken by his master, leaving him crippled and disabled for the rest of his life. Yet, Epictetus gave us one of the most powerful psychological tools in human history, the dichotomy of control. He stated plainly, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." The past is entirely outside of your control. It is a locked door, reinforced with steel. When you spend your daily energy looking backward, wishing you were younger, wishing you had made different choices, or wishing your body looked the way it did 3 decades ago, you are engaging in an act of profound, chronic self-harm. Biologically, this constant rumination keeps your sympathetic nervous system in a perpetual state of fight or flight. You are quite literally poisoning your present biology with ghosts. You are aging yourself faster through the stress of wishing you weren't aging. Stop it! Accept your age. Accept the lines on your face as proof of survival. Accept the unchangeable history of your life. A Stoic does not grieve the passing of time. A Stoic uses the time that remains with ruthless efficiency and deep gratitude. The present moment is the only place where your choices actually exist, and it is the only place where you can effect change. Live there. Habit. Number 3. The daily complaint loop. There is a strange, insidious phenomenon that happens to many people as they cross the half-century mark. They begin to unconsciously curate grievances. They complain about the weather. They complain about the younger generations and how the world is changing. They complain about the government, the traffic, and, most of all, they complain about their failing joints and aches. From a neurological standpoint, there is a rule. Neurons that fire together, wire together. When you make a daily habit of complaining, you are literally rewiring your brain's physical structure to default to a negative state. You are training your amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, to constantly scan your environment for annoyances and injustices. Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome, was arguably the most powerful man in the world. Yet, his life was incredibly difficult. He had to deal with the Antonine Plague, betrayals by his closest friends, incompetent generals, and endless, freezing winters fighting on the Germanic frontier. If anyone had a right to complain about his circumstances, it was him. But in his private journals, never meant for publication, he wrote this strict instruction to himself. Everything that happens is either endurable or not. If it's endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. If it's unendurable, then stop complaining. Your destruction will mean its end as well. As a doctor, I can tell you that a pessimistic, complaining outlook is an active medical comorbidity. Studies consistently show that chronic pessimism correlates with higher risks of cardiovascular events, cognitive decline, and a significantly weaker immune response. Your complaints do not change reality. They only degrade your physiological ability to handle it. Starting today, when you feel a complaint forming on your tongue about an ache, a pain, or an annoyance, swallow it. Practice Stoic silence. Acknowledge the reality of the situation internally. Take whatever action is necessary to fix it, but refuse to add unnecessary suffering to it through your words. Be the silent, unmovable rock that the chaotic waves of life crash against. Habit number 4, operating out of the fear of inevitability. By the time you reach 50, the mathematics of life undergo a profound shift. You wake up one day and realize that there are likely fewer years ahead of you than behind you. For many, this triggers a quiet, daily, low-grade panic. They begin to avoid life in a futile, desperate attempt to preserve it. They undergo unnecessary and painful cosmetic procedures to mask reality. They hoard resources out of fear. They stop traveling, trying new things, or taking risks because they are terrified of what might go wrong. In modern medicine, we are trained to delay death at all costs. We fight it with scalpels, radiation, and pharmaceuticals, but we cannot defeat it. It is the one absolute certainty of the human condition. The Stoics approached this entirely differently. They practiced memento mori, the daily, intentional meditation on their own mortality. They did not do this to be morbid or depressed. They did it to wake themselves up. Seneca wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. The one who puts the finishing touches on their life each day is never short of time." When you fear death and aging, you allow that fear to dictate your daily actions. You become overly cautious, neurotic, and incredibly small. You stop truly living and merely start surviving. But biological survival is not the ultimate goal of a human being. The goal is virtue. The goal is to live with character, courage, and impact. Understand this clinical fact: you are currently dying. It is a slow cellular process that began the exact moment you were born. Do not waste the precious time you have left obsessing over the finish line. Embrace the natural cycle of nature. When you deeply make peace with your mortality, you strip death of its psychological power to terrify you. You are finally free to live with courage. And finally, we arrive at the 5th habit, the one modern society has built a multi-billion-dollar industry around. The one that destroys more brilliant minds and capable bodies than almost anything else I see in my clinical practice. Habit number 5, retiring from purpose. Modern culture aggressively sells you a lie. The lie is that after 30 or 40 years of work, your ultimate reward should be a permanent vacation. The dream is to spend 2 decades doing absolutely nothing of substance, sitting on a beach, playing endless rounds of golf, and having 0 responsibilities, 0 stress, and 0 obligations to the world. As a physician, I will give you the clinical diagnosis of this dream. It is a fast track to severe cognitive and physical decline. When human beings stop having a purpose, when they no longer have a reason to solve complex problems, when they no longer feel necessary to their family or their community, their brains physically respond. The hippocampus, the area of the brain responsible for memory and learning, begins to shrink due to lack of stimulation. Depression sets in. Without a reason to move, physical frailty rapidly follows. The mortality rate spikes significantly in the years immediately following retirement. Marcus Aurelius did not retire to a villa to drink wine. He wrote his most profound, world-changing meditations in cold military tents on the front lines in his final ailing years. He drove himself forward because he understood human nature. He wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for?" Age is not an excuse to abandon your duty to the world. You may retire from your corporate career, you may step down from your job, but you must never, ever retire from having a purpose. If you are over 50, your duty has simply shifted. You now possess decades of hard-won experience, massive failures, deep resilience, and practical knowledge. Your job is no longer to selfishly climb the ladder. Your job is to hold the ladder steady for the next generation. Your purpose is mentorship. It is creating art. It is building your local community. It is being the wise elder your family desperately needs. You need a profound reason to get out of bed tomorrow that has absolutely nothing to do with your own comfort or entertainment. Stop looking for the easy way out of life. The Stoic path is not about finding an easy life. It is about finding the immense internal strength to endure a difficult one with grace, dignity, and unwavering purpose. Throw away the comforting medical lies. Take absolute control of your mind. Move your body against resistance. Stop complaining about the inevitable. Accept your mortality with a calm heart, and find your purpose. The pharmacy cannot give you this. No doctor can prescribe it. Only you can.